Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl News. My name is Brian, and Donald Trump in this address to the press starts listing off the insane amounts of spending and waste that Doge has uncovered. This is how the federal government has been wasting your tax dollars. Let's dive in.
Yeah, please.
In a court filing, the White House said that Elon Musk is not a Doge employee and has no authority to make decisions. Can you clarify for us today
Well,
what
Elon
his
Musk,
exact role is there?
yeah. Elon is, to me, a patriot. So, you could call him an employee, you could call him a consultant, you could call him whatever you want. But he's a patriot. I mean, look at the kind of things I just said. Just write it down, just in case that question got asked, right? And which I'm surprised it took so long, actually. But you know what? Ukraine's a bigger deal because people are dying by the thousands a week, thousands. But look at this, from 90 to 99, Social Security, 6,054,000 people. Well, that's okay, maybe that's possible. 90 to 99, maybe it's possible. It's a lot of people, though, at that. But people that live to 100 to 109, 4,734,000. Wow, that's a lot. That means over 100 years old. They have 4 million people. I don't know too many. I know people that are doing great in their 90s, but not too many people over 100. But I asked Elon, who are these Doge people? He said they're super brilliant computer people, and they love the country. It's simple. Wait a minute. That's just that. And then, where's the money being spent, right? Let's go into that for just a second. $520 million for a consultant on the environment. It's called Environmental, Social, and Governance. Investments in Africa and mobilize private sector resources. $520 million. Somebody got $520 million for an environmental, sounds like an environmental study. I've always been one that paid a lot of money for my environmental studies, but I paid like $50,000, not $520 million. $520 million for ESG. $25 million to promote biodiversity, conservation, and promote licit livelihoods by developing socially responsible behavior in the country of Colombia. Well, it's nice, $25 million to go into Colombia for something that nobody ever heard of. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. $40 million. $42 million for Johns Hopkins, great place, to research and drive social and behavior change in Uganda. $42 million. What about us? What about social change in our country? $70 million for a center at Purdue to research university-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges. I mean, these are massive numbers on things that nobody ever heard about. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcisions. $10 million for circumcisions in another country. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. In other words, let's teach them something about enterprise. What about our people? Can't we teach them about enterprise? $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $32 million to the Prague Civil Society Center, which is a very liberal group of people. Wonder how much of that money came back to the people that approved it. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. Well, why are we giving $21 million to India? They got a lot of money. They're one of the highest taxing countries in the world in terms of us. We can hardly get in there because their tariffs are so high. I have a lot of respect for India. I have a lot of respect for the Prime Minister. He just left, as you know, 2 days ago. But we're giving $21 million for voter turnout. It's voter turnout in India. What about voter turnout here? Oh, we've done that, I guess. We did $500 million, didn't we? It's called the lockboxes. $20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. Listen to these numbers. This is all fraud. $19 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence. We want to give them confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well. They're doing a lot better than we do in the schools, aren't they? $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase socioeconomic cohesion among marginalized communities in Kosovo and Ashkali and in Egypt. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. I could, by the way, I could read this all day long. I could go on all day long, and you'll see hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're doing it. But when I saw the Social Security numbers, I said, wow, that's really something. So we have, let's just go above 100 years old. We have millions and millions of people over 100 years old. Everybody knows that's not so. We have a very corrupt country, and it's a sad thing to say, but we're figuring it out. Now, the good thing about Social Security and what I read is if you take all of those numbers off, because they're obviously fraudulent or incompetent, but if you take all of those millions of people off Social Security, all of a sudden we have a very powerful Social Security with people that are 80 and 70 and 90, but not 200.
Sometimes, y'all, I wonder just how deep this rabbit hole goes. And apparently it gets worse and worse the further down you get. So let me put it to you this way. Imagine that you are, just the average person, and you find out that your business has been defrauding its customers and defrauding the people who have invested in it, and have been taking money wherever they can and then wasting it on things that aren't in their inventory list. They aren't in the actual infrastructure. They aren't going to pay the bills. This is money that is essentially just being fluttered into the wind. It is being wasted. And instead of complaining about it, the people that have found out are now being vilified in the press. Currently, the Democrat Party, and I'll get to the Republicans in a moment, but the Democrat Party is now is trying to get a lawsuit against the Department of Government Efficiency. And I'll explain more about that in a minute, but just imagine being the person who has realized that, someone has been stealing money from Ma and Pa's shop. You need to punish that person. You need to get to the bottom of the issue, and if it's someone that has been accidentally wasting the money, you make sure that they stop it so they go back to being a good employee instead of a net drain to everyone around them. Instead, the mainstream media, which, by the way, good journalists would have found out this fraud decades ago. We don't have good journalists in the mainstream media. Instead, it took not one, but two billionaires who have basically said, you know what, I'm going to put aside my money for the time and actually help out this country. You have Elon Musk, who left South Africa, which, by the way, is approaching failed state status because they have forgotten how to govern themselves and have been one of the most corrupt countries in the entire world. No wonder Musk left. Man. And then you have a man that could have been just retiring at Mar-a-Lago, enjoying his family, but instead he went out to become the President of the United States and won not once, but twice, arguably 3 times, and ultimately is helping change the nation for the better. And instead of the media saying, you know what, let's go on board this crazy train, let's continue to ride this enjoyable roller coaster and see where it ends. Instead, they are trying to shut down the ride. They are trying to shut down the Doge campaign of finding out where the fraud and abuse is. And instead of saying, hey, thank you, Elon Musk, for exposing these problems and exposing the waste, fraud, and abuse, like sending money of $500 million for an environmental study? Okay, I wouldn't call that fraud, but I definitely call that abuse and probably would call it theft, because it's possible that something actually good came of this. Congratulations, good for them. Instead of, however, that's money that could be used to help out American citizens. Remember that the people in Maui, the people in East Palestine, and the people of Hurricane Helene, you know what they got? $750. Yeah, that's the best our federal government can do for our own citizens, but we'll waste billions of dollars worldwide. This is absolutely insane, and no wonder Americans are so stinking angry, and I'm right there with the rest of y'all on this. And instead of thinking, hey, maybe we should align ourselves with this problem and start calling it out, so the people ignored the fact that, I don't know, we've been on the wrong side of these issues for so long, the Democrat Party is now trying to gather a lawsuit against Doge. And here's the story that I'm bringing up. In a lawsuit filed by several Democratic state attorney generals against Mr. Trump and Elon Musk, that challenges Musk's appointment and his access to data in several departments. And the White House responded to this, said that Musk is not the administrator of Doge and is not actually employed by Doge. So basically, this means that Elon Musk is a conscientious helper. This dude is basically saying, I'll do this for free. And thank you. Free is a 4-letter F word I can get behind, particularly when it comes to calling out the waste, the fraud, and the abuse. And instead of thinking to themselves for one moment, maybe we should get on board with this. The Democrat Party wants to send in a lawsuit and try to take away Trump's toys. Okay, this is absolutely asinine. First off, Doge has been retrofitted from something that Barack Obama created by executive order. So this is legal, there is precedent, this is happening. And it's something that the Democrats really need to understand, because underneath Barack Obama, the executive orders went from something that kind of helped move the sludge along here and there to a landslide of insanity where Barack Obama kept on going around Congress, all because he threatened to have a pen and a phone. Well, congratulations, the worm has turned, and to quote Lincoln, a turnabout is fair play. We are using the playbook that has been given, ironically, by Barack Obama himself, and now we're actually using it to fix the problems in our government. And instead, the mainstream media and the Democrat Party are tearing their hair out in just this ridiculous display. They're realizing the hard way that they're slowly losing their grip on the story. And it took Donald Trump and Elon Musk to take away the narrative and finally start exposing the problems. And I can't wait to see what they expose when Musk and his team goes in and finds out what the Pentagon is really spending money on. That's going to be a fun one. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment here on PolitiBrawl News. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.